might call a lifelong journaler. I have been journaling, and not to the encouragement of anyone, since I was maybe 9, 10 years old. I've always been, always is a little big word, as far back as I could remember, I was interested in reading and writing, and I took to journaling so that I had someone to talk to, someone to experience my inner world with, to express fully with, to get the outside clear and free so that my inside could be clear and free. You know, the outside, the external noise that then sort of takes over us inside. So journaling has just been my lifelong practice, and as the years moved on and through time and space, I every day would wake up and start my day journaling, and eventually I would journal during the day, in the evenings. It's just been the go-to. And for whatever reason, in this particular moment, I thought about how journaling saved me, because by getting it out and putting it all on paper, I didn't have to hold whatever I was experiencing inside. I was able to say it because I grew up in a household where there was no saying, there was no feeling, there was just operating inside the system that was in place. And it was a system that wasn't necessarily a spoken system, but a system that you knew was very real, like air. You can't see it, but you can feel it. It's real. We breathe it. And I remember on this one particular occasion, I think I was 11 or 12, when I had done some journaling, and then I went off somewhere outside, with some friends. I believe it was actually a friend of the son of my mother's friend. And when I got back home, my mother said to me, "Yeah, it looks like you've been doing too much writing. You've been doing too much writing." And I was like, puzzled by that. Doing too much writing. First of all, how do you tell someone who's inclined toward writing that they're doing too much writing? How do you tell someone who's inclined toward singing that they're singing too much? Who's inclined toward engineering that they're engineering too much? Who's inclined toward acting that they're acting too much? Who's inclined toward negotiating that they're negotiating too much? Who's inclined toward being the fullness of themselves and accessing who they are, that it's too much? That's like, we can just be with that. And what had happened is, she had read my diary. Back then, they were diaries. Of course, they still exist, a little lock with a key, but she had read it. And by doing so, she robbed me of two things: of my privacy. I grew up in the time when, and many people still feel this way, where as a child you don't have privacy. Children do not have privacy. I don't believe in that. That's not true. You're a person. You deserve privacy. She robbed me of my privacy, but she also robbed me of being able to hold on to the thing that was very important to me, which was writing, expressing words, because it was called too much. And I'm thinking now about how we intentionally in some cases, or unintentionally in some cases, rob people of parts of themselves and their essence, the ingredients of who they are. We rob them of that because of whatever is happening with us, because of our own projections, our own preoccupations, our fears, I'm sure my mother was thinking that she was trying to protect me or control something in some way. But what happens is you actually do the opposite. You take away a person's natural inclination and you replace it with something that feels more like shame, like hiding, like smallness, like I'm doing something wrong. And it becomes confusing because what's wrong with writing down the experience of your day, of your thoughts, of your mind, of your hopes, of your dreams, of your fears? What's wrong with being open and connected and transparent and trusting? And so I learned quickly that to openly express, I needed to do so in such a way that no one knew what I was talking about. I remember being maybe 19 and I was journaling and writing poetry, and I did so in this very code-like way. Only I knew what I was talking about. If someone were to read it, someone standing on the outside looking in, they would not know what it was. They may think, wow, that's beautifully expressed, and I wonder of what she speaks or of whom. I learned to protect my voice, my words, my thoughts from anyone who might intentionally or not rob me of that. And so if I do not express it, you cannot rob me. And yet, I could not just let that go, right? I can't deny myself the very thing that saved me, and journaling saved me. And I'm thinking about you and what's saving you. I'm thinking about you and what you've been robbed of, what you've had to hide or let go of because of the behavior of someone else, because of the words of someone else, because of the denials of someone else. And what do we do when we become aware that we've been robbed? Do we leave it as a template and apply it to most all aspects of our lives and ourselves, or do we sort of look at it and just keep it there where it started? Do we drop it off where we picked it up? Maya Angelou said, don't pick it up, don't put it down. Whatever it is, if you don't pick it up, you don't have to put it down, be it someone robbing you and you carry the weight of that, or someone complimenting you and you carry that, only to be heartbroken when the compliment fades, right? But if we don't pick it up, we don't have to put it down. So how are we choosing not to carry the effects of the cause behind our being robbed of something? And, I'm really grateful that I was able to continue journaling. Of course, as a child, I switched gears. I did things differently. I learned how to hide. I learned how to keep secrets. I learned how to keep close to chest the things close to my chest. Keep close to heart the things close to my heart, because there was no safe place. There was only the robbing and the shaming, the thing that says you're doing too much of that one thing. Then I peel that back and I say, it's too much for you, because whatever you chose to read, which was in violation of my privacy, made you feel a way. And rather than address the way that you felt, since you, after all, robbed me of my privacy, you wanted to take away my autonomy, my voice, that which is essential to me and important. But here is the thing. We may rob someone of something, but to quiet the still voice within, that's a whole other level. It remains there, even if it's under layers and layers and layers. It's accessible. We may shun or shame someone, but the essence and truth of who that someone is remains there, again, even if under layers and layers of the effects of having been robbed, having been hurt, having been shamed and criticized. We're there. And I want to encourage and invite us to peel back the layers and discover who we are, discover what is saving us, what we are practicing in our lives that heals us and holds us and elevates us and evolves us forward to live fully and well and fully. How far back do we need to go to find ourselves and extend our hand to ourselves and walk slowly in the direction of difference and change and closer to ourselves? How far back do we walk to arrive there? And how willing are we to do it? I'm thankful for the opportunity to reflect and to change and to grow, to know myself better, to become clearer around and about the things that have led to me being all of the ways that I am. Be it ways that I want to hold close and nurture and cultivate, in ways that I desire to evolve beyond, to change, to grow through. I'm grateful. Life is a living organism, and we are alive inside of this. So let us think on these things. What was taken from you? And are you going to retrieve it? Are you going to reconnect with that part of yourself? Are you going to say, oh, no, I'm not writing too much. I'm expressing fully my experience. And that's my private experience. So return back to me my privacy. I invite us to think on these things, to look back through time to see the moment of impact that caused us to pivot in a way that moved us from the truth of ourselves. Because you know what, in these days and times, we are being called to pivot back toward ourselves, back toward the start of the beginning, and to live from that place. I welcome that for myself. And if that feels in alignment with who you are, I invite you to be with that. And may it be so for you, should you practice it. Whatever was taken, we can choose to reclaim it, be it love and validation, privacy and autonomy, the voice, the truth of who we are, our beauty, our talents, our hearts, our love, whatever it is. May we turn again toward it and breathe it in as the air that's been long missing, and then live anew from that place. It's not perfection, it's a practice. May we cultivate the practice of practicing. May we cultivate the practice of practicing. Yeah. I want to breathe that in, be with that a little bit. And perhaps you want to breathe it in and be with that a little bit yourself. Either way, thank you for your time, your attention, and your ear. Because time is the one thing we do not get back. Our attention is not meant to be placed on all people. And our ears, they receive. And what they receive, at least in my view, should be that of food, something that feeds us. So thank you for gifting these things to me. And I hope that you come back around again and again. And tell a friend. I'll see you next week.